it's me again. Just wanted to give y'all a quick update on some changes I've made with my 12-volt solar system. I know it looks like a mess of tangled wires and everything. We have it in our room that we call our electronics room, and it is a 12-volt system, and I don't know if you can see outside, but that's where the solar panels and whatnot are. We got about 500 watts of solar power, give or take a little bit. Actually, I think give a little bit more counting the homemade ones. I've updated my charge controller from this 20 amp MPPT to the 60 amp MPT, whatever. This one I have my homemade panels running on. The ones with, instead of 36 cells, I put 40 cells. So with the conversion from the maximum power point tracking, it gives me a little bit more power, and plus I can keep it separate from my regular store-bought panels. I don't know if I had this on my last one, but this I purchased from a friend from work, 35 bucks. It's a 1500 watt inverter with a 3000 watt surge. Here's my 700 watt inverter that I got, which basically this is running all my lights, my TV, and satellite right now. When I have enough power, which we got a cloudy day and I've used quite a bit of power, we don't have very much in there right now. I just use this charge controller from Harbor Freight. I just use it to give me a reading easily without having to hook up a multimeter. But this, I run my refrigerator, my washing machine, and I could probably run various other things. Of course, I don't run them at the same time. This runs to the refrigerator, and this one I plug in the washing machine whenever we need to wash some clothes. But the main update I did, instead of hooking all the batteries, which I've gotten a few more batteries, this one, and this one are car batteries that I've got for free. So I figured, why the hell, I'll just burn them up right quick and then use them as a core charge. I just recently bought this one. Other than those other three I just named, we have 825 amp hour 12 volt deep dual purpose actually batteries from Walmart, cheap ones there. I got them all linked in parallel to give me the 12 volts for both of my inverters. But the thing I did differently, instead of chaining all the negative together and all the positive together and then taking one negative from that side and a positive from this side like most people do, I decided to try something different. Because last time I did that, the two end pieces the two end terminals had a higher voltage than the two I was drawing from. And I got to thinking, if I wanted to pull negative from here, then to get the negative from the far battery, it would have to follow all the way through to get to the negative here. Even though I was using, the positive from one and negative from another, it was still, basically these wires were having to carry the entire load, and I don't have big enough wires or the money for it. So I replaced my 19-inch 6-gauge battery cable wires with 49-inch 6-gauge. And basically, that way they'd all be the same size. And ran them all to a common point. This big bolt that I have running through this piece of wood here. This side's positive, this side's negative. That way, whenever my inverter, which is in there too, along with my solar charge controllers, they're all in there. Whenever the inverter pulls, it pulls equally from each battery. Instead of all that wire, pulling hard from one point and having to carry the volt or amperage from all the batteries, each one has a little bit. I primarily did that not necessarily for the using the batteries, but mainly for the charging. That way, when the charge hit, the charge had an equal amount of wire to go through both sides. To all the negatives and all the positives, it's the same amount of distance. That way, and also whenever I'm pulling, if I'm pulling, 40 amps and I have 8 batteries, instead of one wire